Man, it's a good thing I went to the bathroom before starting recording this, because, yeah, those stream sounds, they really do a number on people, don't they? Hey there, guys, my name is Nix, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1. That name still seems ridiculous, and yet still I reel the whole thing off, because why the hell not at this point? The key's in the title. I don't know why you need to... You know what, never mind. Last time, we went and we pretty much experienced the fun side of the Watanagashi. And then, like, I think Reina had a monologue, but it didn't tell me it was Reina, but it sort of sounded like Reina, as if she were dead inside. And she said she didn't want to have to hurt someone, but she will if she has to. Fear intensifies in my inner being. Anyway, for once I don't actually have to come back to me in the past to read some tips and we can just fucking go, so... yeah. While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Reina. I wasn't very lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live. My home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone will surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomitaki-san's. I headed towards it. How'd it go, Tomitaki-san? Were you able to get any good shots? Yeah, fortunately. Tomitaki-san was with a girl. I felt a little like I was intruding. Sorry, who the fuck are you? And how do you know my name? How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you enjoy the festival? From the way she spoke, it seems like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name? Well, it was fun. My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name because she gave me a light-hearted chuckle. It's probably because it has been long since you moved here. It's pretty hard to believe, seeing how friendly you've gotten with the other kids. If that's how it looked, then it was probably all thanks to Reina and Mion. Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hinamizawa after taking part in the festival today. I wonder about that. Oh? That's not like you. I tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there were still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of the people I'd met, for example. Things that had happened in the past as well. Oh? You're feeling left out because of something like that? It's not so much as feeling left out. It's just... I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the dam construction site. The fighting over it and over another conflicts. That terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and bad that had happened here. If it'll put you at ease, I can tell you everything I know. Tomitaki-san's smile made me feel more relieved than I ever had been. It was hard to think of what to ask when someone says, "Ask me anything," though. Even when there was so much I wanted to ask. Then, could you tell me about what happened when the dam was being constructed? There was a big incident where Hinamizawa was going to be submerged, right? I think the locals will be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I can tell you what I know. It's only what I read in the newspaper, though. Tomitaki-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memory. Then he spoke. The decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. I heard it was the next largest project after the one over in Kurobe. That's probably one that actually happened. I probably should look into that. There were 3 major issues in Japan at the time. Improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting the high demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electricity and flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out even. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. The entire area, right up to the Yaguchi, way upstream, would be underwater. But why did they have to pick a populated area like Hinamizawa? Couldn't they have instead picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not really sure why, but I heard it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Flat and easily levelable. Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said they had fought. From the choice of words, I had guessed things had turned violent. There was a trial, and it was even brought up before the national diet. It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers, too. Miyuna told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly without mere words. It was likely brought about by that battle. As a result, bribery and scandals were brought to light. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I wanted to know, now was my only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little ashamed from the fact I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Reina and Mion's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance. Just so I would stop thinking about it so much. So, there was a dismemberment, right? There was. I happened to be here in Hinamizawa at the time, so I remember it well. Tomitaki-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced out question. It was about this time, 4 years ago. It was the day of the Watanagashi, if I recall correctly. Debate on whether to continue construction of the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident that was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hid one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but 1 was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident. But it wasn't so terrible that Reina and Mion needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being so interested in it. Near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see. So everyone was saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recalled correctly. I see. The guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa.
Apparently the younger ones didn't think so. But it seems like the elderly in the village never doubted that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse.
The woman with Tomitaki-san chuckled mischievously. Tomitaki-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious I nearly ended up laughing as well.
But But I wonder about now. There are quite a few, I think. Amongst the youth, too.
A few what? People who believe.
Oyashiro-sama no tatari.
Who believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern. Then, after that, it continued every year. Always around this time. Continued? What continued? Tomitaki-san paused for a second as if to build some suspense. Then he whispered to me as if someone might have been listening. Every year, the day of the Watanagashi, somebody dies. I'm sorry, did someone just pass out on the cello? What the fuck was that? The year following the dismemberment on the day of the Watanagashi, a man from Hinamizawa who had spotted the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while on his vacation. Speaking of his wife, unfortunately, her body was also never recovered.
He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa. At the time, there were whispers among the elderly saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse.
The woman chuckled mischievously again. And then the next year, the night of the Watanagashi, the Shrine Shinto priest suddenly died from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. The Shrine Shinto priest? You mean he was from the shrine here? The woman nodded.
There was a rumor among the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger.
And the year after that, again on the night of the Watanagashi, they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam or who had connections with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way too?
Exactly.
The woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacingly.
The victim's family, you see, it happened to be that of the younger brother of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before.
Younger brother's still alive, it seems. But it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to the neighboring town. For a while, I stood there with my mouth agape. The battle over the dam construction with Hinamizawa's future at stake. And the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew. That was all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to this story. Homicide. Body disposal. Accidental death. Terminal illness. Suicide. Fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses. But the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Watanagashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction. It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves. But when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. I don't believe in curses, but every single year on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen without fail. The woman chuckled again as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was. Maybe we frightened him. Stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomitaki-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone. Then? So, someone died the next year, right? Or was it at that time? I wonder. Who do you think, Keiichi-kun? The hell? You said it was 4 years ago, so we had the 3. And the fourth one is this year. Shit, we're still waiting, aren't we? The way he said it didn't agree with me. Sarcastic tone ticked me off. Don't avoid the question, I'm serious here!
Hey, calm down, Keiichi-kun.
I realized when she tried to calm me down that I'd been panicking. We aren't trying to avoid the question, Keiichi-kun. It's just, when you say the next year, that's...
That's today.
When Tomitaki-san hesitated to say it, she finished it for him. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed.
Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again tonight.
The festival was so cheerful, though!
Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. Turns out she didn't even attend the Watanagashi festival.
There was a rumor going around that if you didn't participate in the festival, you would incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath. Did you hear anything about this, Keiichi-kun? I never even heard a whisper of that rumor. Then the reason everyone was at the festival was because they were afraid of the curse? I figured that must have been the reason. There are a lot more people at the Watanagashi than usual.
I guess everyone was just afraid after all. Of Oyashiro-sama's curse.
I couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and misunderstood, where black and white television had been eradicated and we'd sent men to the moon, even with all our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society?
Tons of invitations were sent out to neighboring towns. Tons of invitations were sent out to neighboring towns' youth groups to help pad the numbers. But after the string of events, few decided to join. The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants.
Also, the police are treating each case as isolated. They don't believe they're connected. But apparently they've sent quite a few plainclothes officers for security. It finally began to dawn on me why Reina and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watanagashi, everything would have been over with everyone. If nothing had happened during this Watanagashi, everything would have been over with, and I'd been none the wiser. If nothing had happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up just being crazy talk. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing had happened. And we all could have gone back to the life as usual.
Maybe it was just too much for him after all.
The woman ran her fingers through her hair and sighed. No, it wasn't. Not at all. I tried to act strong, but that just served to empathize how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomitaki-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor. Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such things as curses. Well, no. If the causes of all crimes were unknown, with their perpetrators and their methods all mysteries, then I can see the possibility of a curse. That's not how things are in reality. Police investigations have already uncovered the truth and perpetrators for all the cases. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse. First one, the dismemberment, for example. I told you, didn't I? All but one of the perpetrators were arrested. Which means the last guy is out there committing all the murders in the name of Oyashiro-sama. Yay! Genocidal maniacs. It's only a matter of time for the last one. The motive turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's no curse. I'm assuming he's still speaking. Don't you agree? That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Watanagashi, then I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all. The accidental deaths of the couple who was supposed the dam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating from that angle. They concluded it was an accident. No foul play. But they both happened on the day of the festival, right? Just think about it, Keiichi-kun. You don't think people with a lot of enemies here in Hinamizawa could participate easily in a local festival? Probably be especially hard if they were around during the Watanagashi. So they probably left Hinamizawa intentionally around that time of year for travel, don't you think? Wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomitaki-san was getting at. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions that I could convince myself. Then, Tomitaki-san, what about the priest who died after that? The one with the unknown illness. That also happened on the day of the festival. It's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. The Watanagashi is a really big event that happens once a year. It's probably from all the built-up stress. Or might have been a pre-existing condition. But it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe such a thing could exist with all our advances in medicine. It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over having incidents happen 2 years in a row. Sudden death is quite unnatural, though. Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. But that wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know. Turns out it was just sudden death due to illness. The priest's wife committed suicide, correct? What about that? I believe I already explained that. Everyone was shaken up by the incident happening for a third year. Those who are of strong faith were quick to believe that this was the work of a curse. Of course, that included the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger." Well then, how about the next incident with the housewife? That happened the day of the Watanagashi too. The perpetrator had already been caught and the case had been closed. Turns out it was just some nutjob trying to continue the legacy of the Hinamizawa curse. That's the one that scares me. The fact that people believe in this shit in order to carry it on. She said it was popular with the kids. I'm fucked, aren't I? Then, how about the incident next year? Oh yeah. This year is the next year. Tomitaki-san gave a hearty laugh. Nothing will happen. Not this year. It never was a curse to begin with. It's just a group of people. It's just that a group of people believed in that there was an explanation for a string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd become after losing control and panicking. I can see very clearly now that Keiichi-kun really does love Hinamizawa. Even if Oyashiro-sama's curse really did exist. I can't imagine that Keiichi-kun had become a target. I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I'd heard tonight. I'll greet Reina and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like to... They probably also like tonight to end without incident so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening in stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting on.
Well then, I should be getting back.
Goodness, I think I might have gone on a bit too long.
おしゃべりしすぎたかな
There were so few people compared to the crowd from before. I could only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed that we talked for the better part of an hour. I call bullshit. My recording says it's only been half an hour.
Did you come along with your friends, Keiichi-kun?
I think I've just elbowed my microphone. I apologize for that one.
Not going to look for them.
Oh yeah. They might all be looking for me. You're quite a scoundrel making the girls look for you.
罪人だね
See you, Keiichi-kun. Have a nice night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you a bit later.
Oh my. Tomitaki-san seemed to be quite the scoundrel himself. So his name was Jiro. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people still busy cleaning up the shrine grounds. Oh, thank God! I didn't have to look for you. Keiichi-kun! I'm so sorry! In her place, Reina came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil.
My bad, Kei-chan. We got so caught up in our discussion.
I'd completely forgotten about them while I was caught up in my own conversation, so I guess we were even.
Hi, so Tomitaki-san was with you. This works out perfectly. We still need to settle the shooting gallery competition.
Ah,
そうだったね
that's right.
結局
So I guess I'm gonna end up dead last. Probably shouldn't use the word dead. In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time to aim, but all 3 shots completely missed, so she ended up sharing the loser's crown with Tomitaki-san. However, she did her little meeping cry in front of the owner, and he turned to mush instantly. She was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Her methods were a bit audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently.
思うにリカちゃんって
Come to think of it, Rika-chan is quite the trickster.
I have no idea what Keiichi's talking about. Now then, it's decided that Tomitaki-san is dead last.
Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomitaki-san smiled wryly and slightly bewildered.
So Tomitaki-san, are you ready? It's penalty out time.
Huh?
あ
Oh, I completely forgot about that. You're too naive, Tomitaki-san. This is why you avoid losing in our club. Mion pulled a felt-tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that.
ミオン武士のなせ
Show him some mercy, Mion.
せめて水星
At
に
least
して
use a washable marker.
優勢はつらい
Permanent one's too harsh.
It just has to be permanent. What if his marker would come off in the laundry?
あ
Whoa,
なんだよ
whoa, whoa, what is this?
お手柔らかに
Please
頼
take
む
it
よ
easy on me. All of us pinned his arms behind his back as Mion approached him with a marker in one hand.
And squip, squip, scoop.
She didn't write on the Tomitaki-san's face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You better have your big break this year. Mion. Reina took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Bye. From Reina. It was a little heartwarming and I just had to laugh.
これじゃあ罰ゲームってより
It's more like a farewell card than a penalty.
I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper penalty.
Haha, dead last. Sakoto. Try harder next time. Rika.
Here you go, Keiichi-san.
I couldn't decide what's right, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again. Keiichi. Tomitaki-san was silent the entire time. First he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face.
これを着たまま帰郷するのも
So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty.
Of course, you better wear it all the way back home. You could wear it when you come back. It'd be nice.
He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn bright red.
分かった
Understood.
次に来る時も
I'll wear this next time I come here.
約
I
束する
promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomitaki-san standing near the festival grounds. It seemed Tomitaki noticed her too, and knew it was time to leave.
Seems like your guest is waiting.
そろそろお時間
Isn't it about time? Huh?
うん
Yeah, that's certainly how it seems. Tomitaki-san headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomitaki-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off. They had done the same thing many times before.
He's gone. Well, it's about time we take off too.
Rika-chan had stayed behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Sakoto was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talk of the day's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that, that kind of stuff. Reina and I parted ways with Mion, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got to my house, and I parted ways with Reina as well.
こんな時間だけど一人で
It's
大
already
丈夫
pretty
か
late. Are you alright going by yourself?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's close. I'm going to run too.
変な奴がいたら大声出
If
せ
you
よ
run into some weirdo, just yell.
If I do shout, will you come and save me, maybe? Maybe?
聞こえたら
If I hear you.
Okay. I'll scream loud enough so that you can hear me.
Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, Reina dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Reina's cheerful presence disappeared and finally became quiet again. A curse that not a soul mentioned, even under their breath. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. It didn't show on their faces, but they were all probably quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up just being crazy talk. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad, nothing at all.
What's wrong, Keiichi? Why are you standing in place like that? Come inside, you'll catch cold.
It was my mom.
母さんは行った
Did you go, Mom?
渡
To
中
the
市の祭り
Watanagishi festival.
結局お父さんが起きなか
In
った
the
から
end, your
ね
father didn't wake up,
行
so I
き
missed
そびれ
it.
ちゃったわ残
A
念
little disappointing.
Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. Immediate concern. Immediate concern. Oh, my parents are gonna die, aren't they? Because they didn't go to the goddamn festival. Oh god, that's a lot of tips. Okay. Well, I was thinking this might be a short episode, but given the number of goddamn tips I just got, here goes something. This might be the rest of the episode. Let's see what we've got. Oh, these are all reports on the 3 that Tomitaki-san had mentioned. And this is a radio log? Interesting. We'll start with the Hojo couple's falling incident. From the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of the 2 p.m., office employee Blank and his wife of Hinamizawa village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in the Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of, I'm assuming that's him, around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife has yet to be found. The search had run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that X's leaned on had broken, causing them to fall. The groundskeeping staff questioned by the police in regards to the facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. Oh shit, that was it? Okay, maybe I do have time to go a bit longer. The terminal illness death of the Shinto priest Furude. Sorry, I just needed to check that name. It's not familiar to me, but hey ho. From June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of around 10 p.m. in the district of Hinamizawa village in the Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said that he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival which had been held that day. Also, after Vier's death, his wife went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and the local youth association continued the search. Not the church. However, given the presence of a farewell message and the fact that the Onigafushi swamp is said to be bottomless, they'd run into difficulties. And I'd run into difficulty speaking. So I feel like these are all just somewhat general recaps, but it does give the names. Because we have Hojo and Furude, and I don't know if that was given. It's the radio log I'm interested in. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. That's sus as fuck. Oh god, that's it? Oh god! I just got like the weirdest pang of like horror run up my spine. It's like, there's nothing on this one. I don't know why you're looking here. Stop looking. God, I haven't felt this weird since I read Ibitsu. Okay, what about this radio log? I didn't expect this one to be voice acted. Then again, the ones with the girls had been, so I don't know why I'm surprised. This is Okinomiya Station, calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3, loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger, Unit 3, acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. I'm requesting radio silence. Station, the doctors arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Ah, backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. Interesting. So my number one question at the moment is whether that is related to whatever has happened tonight. If, in big air quotes, if something has happened tonight. Or that is related to this. The housewife murder. Because obviously, like, they were basically as like trying to keep it under wraps, you know? Just like the this. But yeah. Oh god. Oh, it's a conspiracy. I love it. Also, I'm gonna carry on because I basically want to. Okay, shut up. But I'm gonna make a save real quick.